And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bob Simonello.
All right, thank you. Once I was lost, I was discontent. I lived in my daydreams with my spirit spent. Then I heard a voice saying loud and clear, those dreams, they won't come true if you keep sitting in that chair. I was sitting there in the dark so long, I ain't no doctor, but I knew what was wrong. I'd never been rocked enough, I'd never been rolled just right. I was tense and nervous, honey, I was too uptight. I'd never been rocked enough, I'd never been rolled just right. Now I'm playing Don't Tell Mama, and I'm standing in the light. I watch you come in here, night after night. You sit over in the corner where there ain't no light. You got a beautiful smile, but you don't have fun. Something about you, darling, has been left undone. Now you've been sitting there in the dark so long, I ain't no doctor, but I know what's wrong. You never been rocked enough, you never been rolled just right. I was tense and nervous, honey, you're too uptight. You never been rocked enough, you never been rolled just right. Now my time is your time, darling, and darling, I got all night. I can't be sure, I can't guarantee that my songs will lead you to your destiny. That road to heaven is just a one big schlep. You got to find your heart's desire, that's the very first step. If you've been sitting there in the dark too long, I ain't no doctor, but I've lived this song. Never been rocked enough, if you've never been rolled just right. If you stay tense and nervous, honey, you'll stay uptight. You've never been rocked enough, but been rolled just right. My time is your time, darling, and darling, I got all night. Maybe we can make it right. Maybe we can rock tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. How about this band? Steve Singer and Scott Thornton and my pianist, Jeff Harris. Well, I've reached a milestone recently. I turned 70. As I approach this seminal event and look back at my life, what I've done, where I've been, how I got there, how I got here, I wonder, what makes me tick? Why did I do this and not that? As a kid, why ballet lessons and not kickboxing? An affinity for fine arts, but not finance. Why the Boyd obsession with Judy Garland? Is it nurture or nature? What makes me, me? There's a kid inside, and I have him with me always. There's a kid inside, walking down old high school hallways. There's a kid inside, and a desk, and a dance, and the halls and the showers. There's a kid inside, to this very day. And he makes a try for that high pop fly that I fumbled one September. And he makes a fuss over some A+ that I shouldn't still remember. And he goes along, getting hurt, getting mad, fighting fights that are over. And unless I'm strong, all my senses are carried away. I can feel my hand, my trembling hand, on Michel's Angora sweater. I can hear my band, that awful band, only now it sounds much better. I can see the kid I used to be, on the stage, on the field, on the lunch line. I can feel him tugging at me every time I think I don't care. I blink and he's there again. He's there again, fighting ancient wrongs, humming old hit songs in my head, singing, come along, come along, come along for the ride, to a time and place I could not forget if I tried. And I never know when the wind will blow with the rush of old sensation, why the kid should wake and my heart should ache every time I smell carnations. Something rings a bell, anything at all. All it takes is the slam of a locker, or a switch from summer to fall. A change of season seems barely reason, but there he goes, he's there again, fighting ancient wrongs, humming old hit songs in my head, singing, come along, come along, come along for the ride, to a time and place I could not forget if I tried. There's a kid inside. If you want to get to heaven, I'll tell you how. Keep your hands on that gospel plow. Keep your hands on that plow and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hands on that plow and hold on. That was the first song I ever learned as a kid. We lived in a black community behind a black church in New Haven. I heard that song every Sunday sitting on my grandmother's back porch. Our next door neighbor, Mr. George Julius, taught me the song. He was in the choir, but he was also a traveling musician, and he'd be on the road for months at a time. When he'd return to the neighborhood, there was always a big welcome home party. It was a big deal, especially for all the kids in the neighborhood. We'd sit around Mr. Julius, he'd play his guitar, he'd sing all his new songs, and he'd tell stories about all the famous people he'd met and the places he'd been. San Francisco morning coming, clear and cold. Don't know if I'm awaking or I'm dreaming. Riding with Fats Waller on the Super Chief. He said, music's real, the rest is see me. Oh, he played feelings that don't go away. Left the sound of his soul in the air. I can hear him up there, and I know Jelly Roll is playing down in Storyville. Satchmo's playing somewhere in Chicago. But you ought to hear them play. Feelings that don't go away. Left the sound of their souls in the air. I can hear them up there, and I know they left them soul shadows on my mind, on my mind, on my mind. They left them soul shadows on my mind. I always find they're on my mind. Now all those blues and jasmine on the radio, their worried notes can make a grown man cry. Coltrane reaching for the notes his mind can hear. They remain a part of all I know. But you ought to hear them play. Feelings that don't go away. Left the sound of their souls in the air. I can hear them way up there. They left them soul shadows on my mind, on my mind, on my mind. They left them soul shadows on my mind. I always find they're on my mind. San Francisco morning, coming clear and cold. Don't know if I'm awakened or I'm dreaming. Hold on, hold on. Thank you. Well, I really love Mr. Julius. There was nobody like him. I wanted to be him. He inspired my first three aims in life: to sing, to get to heaven, and to be black. I kept asking my father, when do we turn black? Mr. Julius always told stories about his favorite place, New York City. And he convinced my parents to take me there. My first trip, I remember coming out of the subway at Times Square, looking up at all the colored lights and the flashing neon, my favorite cartoon character, Little Lulu, leaping across a 50-foot box of Kleenex, and oh my God, a 6-story billboard of Judy Garland and A Star Is Born. I fainted. I was 7. When I came to, I looked up at my father and I said, "This is heaven. This is where I want to live." And 53 years later, 12 years later, I was living my dream on East 47th Street at the Grand Central YMCA. And after 53 years of living here in the city, I have absolutely no ambivalence about the city. But some people do. Some people right here in this very room. You know who you are. You're thinking about moving to Florida, or retiring in Arizona or South Carolina. And Jeff, the Poconos, really? Listen, all you New Yorkers, there are rumors going around that some of you good people want to leave this town. Well, you better consult with me before you go. Because I've been all these places, and I know.
Chicago?
Chicago's all right. It's got Wrigley Field and Soldiers Field and Marshall Field, and it's on a nice lake. But it hasn't got the handsomes in the park. It hasn't got a skyline after dark. That's why New York's my home. Never let me leave it. New York's my home, sweet home.
What about San Francisco?
San Francisco's a lovely place. It's got lots of hills and lots of thrills. And it's near an ocean of some size. But it hasn't got the Bowery or the Bronx. It hasn't got the Harlem honky-tonks. That's why New York's my home. It's my favorite city. New York's my home, sweet home.
St. Louis.
Lots of people like St. Louis. It's got lots of shoes and the St. Louis blues. And one of our large rivers runs by. But it hasn't got the opera at the Met. It hasn't got a famous string quartet. That's why New York's my home. Never let me leave it. New York's my home, sweet home.
But there's Hollywood.
Hollywood's got movie stars and shiny cars and cocktail bars and a wonderful climate, they say. But it hasn't got the handy subway trains. You seldom find a taxi when it rains. That's why New York's my home. Keep your California. New York's my home, sweet home. So save your time and trouble. I say save your railroad fare. Save your time and trouble, brother. I say save your railroad fare. 'Cause when you leave New York, you ain't going nowhere. If truth be told, there was a time where I wanted to leave New York. It was 2 weeks after I got here. I didn't have much money. I didn't have very many friends. It was the middle of the sexual revolution. I wasn't out, so I wasn't having very much fun, even though I was at the YMCA. My hopes and dreams of success rested with my folk music group, Monday's Children, becoming the next big folk music sensation. We were recording an album for Warner Brothers at Phil Ramone's studio on West 48th Street. Peter Yarrow was our musical director. We were on our way. But the times they were changing. People had begun to realize that folk music was annoying. And depressing. Nobody wanted to hear any more songs about a potato famine in Ireland in the 1600s, or what Billy Joe McAllister threw off a bridge that nobody ever heard of. And pretty much everybody had figured out where all the flowers had gone. The hippies had picked them all and put them in their hair. So, and there was all this talk about some new sound that the hippies were getting their love beats all twisted and not over. Some British group with bad haircuts. Our album got pulled. We were all devastated. I was 19. And it was the biggest disappointment of my young life. I remember coming home after getting the news and Going home to the Y, sitting on the edge of my bed, my big dream crushed, staring at a wall, and thinking, I never want to sing again. The house knows my step on the stair. The door knows my hand on the knob. The walls know the whites of my eyes. But nobody knows the sound of my voice. The wind knows its way through my hair. The street meets the heels of my shoe. The rain rides the curve of my cheek. But nobody knows the sound of my voice. In the halls of night, in the caves of day, on the map of time, it's all a dot, a grain, a speck, a chip. A wave breaks and nobody sees. The earth moves, but nobody feels. A tree falls and nobody hears. Nobody hears if no one's around. The earth moves, nobody feels. A tree falls and nobody hears. Nobody hears if no one's around. Then nobody knows if there was a sound. Thank you. Now, you'd never know from that song, but the world didn't end. But the kid inside was screaming, "Mommy!" It reminded me of an earlier time, as a kid, when somebody tried to mess with my creative self-expression. Sister Mary Joseph Agatha. As a kid, I loved cartoons. I couldn't get enough. I learned how to make flipbook animations. I used to love making them come to life on these little white pads that my father brought home from work. Everyone's favorite was my stick figure Jesus. Stick figure Jesus, multiplying the loaves and the fishes, walking on water, raising Lazarus from the dead. It made me the most popular kid in second grade. I would sell them for a nickel. Eventually, I ran out of miracles. But I found new inspiration in my father's medical books. He was a physical therapist, and he had all of these anatomy books with all these fabulous, beautiful illustrations in them. One particular animation caught my fancy. I had no idea what it was. But it looked like it would be a good candidate for animation. It had elements in it that looked like it lended itself. So it turned out to be the best one I'd ever made. So I bring it to show and tell. I'm up there showing the class, and they're oohing and ahhing. And all of a sudden, from the back of the room, Sister Bertilla starts, that's what we call her, Bertilla the nun. Bertilla starts screaming at me, "You filthy piece of humanity, you nasty little boy." And she comes charging down the aisle, and she grabs it out of my hand, starts flipping it in my face, saying, "Disgusting, this is disgusting, disgusting." Well, I thought she was a little bit over the top with this. So I stood up to her. She was no art critic. And I said, "It is not disgusting. It's a pretty butterfly." It was not a pretty butterfly. It was a vagina. Full frontal. I thought it had wings, so I made it fly. Sister Bertilla wasn't having any of it. That we know of. She said something that really stuck in my craw. She said, "A lot of good this is going to do you in your life." Where did you guess this disgusting idea for this? I didn't want to get my father in trouble, so I said, "I got it from here, right here, here, in the middle of imagination, right in the middle of my head. I close my eyes, and my room's not my room, and my bed isn't really my bed. I look inside and discover things that are sometimes strange and new. And the most remarkable thoughts, I think, have a way of being true. Here in the middle of imagination, right in the middle of my mind, I close my eyes and the night isn't dark. Magical worlds I find. Time stands still and the night is clear and the wind is warm and fair. And the nicest place is the middle of imagination when I'm there. Here in the middle of imagination, curious things happen there. Butterflies fly in my mind's eye. A nun gets chased by a bear. Stick-figure Jesus walks on the sea. Easy as 1, 2, 3. All these rhymes and riddles in the middle of imagination set me free. Now fast forward to 2 weeks after our album deal fell apart. I'm walking down Broadway. I run into a guy from college who I barely knew. He tells me he's working for Sesame Street. He gets me an interview. I show them a few character ideas, a little storyboard. Bing bang, tick-tock. I'm creating animated cartoon films for Sesame Street and the Electric Company. All these rhymes and riddles in the middle of imagination set me free. Thank you, Stick Figure Jesus and Flying Vaginas. One of the best things about working at Sesame Street was working with Joe Raposo. And he was the musical director for the show, and also he became one of our great American songwriters. Joe did all the soundtracks and the special effects for my animation. One day, I walk into the studio to work on a soundtrack with him. Joe's sitting at the piano, singing a new song that he had just recently written. As I listened to the lyrics, I thought, oh my God, Joe wrote this song about me. 2 weeks earlier, we'd had a conversation where I was lamenting the loss of the album, my mixed feelings about singing again, and about my ambivalence about coming out. Joe was very supportive and very understanding. So when he finished singing, I went over to him and I said, Joe, it's beautiful. It would be an honor for me to sing your new song, to introduce it, at the open mic down at the Duplex on Saturday night. He looked up at me and he said, I'm really sorry, Bob, but you got beat out by a frog. It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it might be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that. No, it's not easy being green. Seems you blend in with so many other ordinary things, and people tend to pass you over because you're not standing out like flashy sparkles on the water or stars in the sky. But green is the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like. Green can be big like an ocean, important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it can make you wonder why. But why wonder, I'm green, and it'll do just fine. It's beautiful, and I think it's what I want to be. And green, it's the color of spring. And green can be cool and friendly like. And green can be big like an ocean, important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. And why wonder, I'm green, and it'll be just fine. It's the color of spring, the grass, the leaves, clover and trees, and it's beautiful. And I think it's what I want to be. After totally humiliating myself in front of Joe, I managed to put myself back together. Eventually, I was able to be in the same room with that hateful frog. You didn't have to work with him. I got that job on a wing and a prayer. I had absolutely no clue how to produce an animated professional film for TV when they asked me in the interview. I remember running to the library, immersing myself in every how-to book on animation I could find, and somehow I said a prayer, I rolled the dice, and somehow it didn't come out snake eyes. In fact, it was the beginning of a career that I never intended to have or even wanted. But I kept my hand on that plow and I held on. But eventually, one plow was not enough. I wanted more plows, more fields, and more money. So I entered the glamorous world of corporate industrial shows, designing audiovisual presentations. There were basically slideshows for salesmen, and they were promoting everything under and including the sun. It was underarm deodorant, toilet paper, timeshares in Orlando, firearms. It was 16-hour days, living on pizza and Clark bars. Something wasn't right. Something didn't feel right. And in the back of my mind, always, there was this little voice.
A lot of good that's gonna do in your life.
Did I just hear an alarm start ringing? Did I see sirens go flying past? But I don't know what tomorrow's ringing. I got a singular impression, things are moving too fast. I'm riding smooth as a figure skater. I'm riding hot as a rocket blast. I just expected it 10 years later. I got a singular impression, things are moving too fast. And you say, oh no, step on the brakes, do whatever it takes, but stop this train. Slow, slow, the light's turning red. Well, I say, no, no, whatever I do, I barrel on through and I don't complain, no matter what I try. I'm flying full speed ahead. I'm never worried to walk the wire. I don't do anything just half-assed. But with the stakes getting somewhat higher, I got a singular impression. Things are moving too fast. I got a job that I love, and I got an agent who loves me. Things might get bumpy, but some people analyze every detail. Some people stall when they can't see the trail. Some people freeze out of fear that they'll fail, but I keep rolling on. I dreamed of riding like the high and mighty. Now I'm the subject of a bidding war. I'm a personal Aphrodite. I'm doing things I never dreamed of before. I left New Haven and I don't regret it. I wrote a book and Oprah Winfrey read it. My heart's been stolen, my ego's swollen. I just keep rolling along. And I'm thinking, well, what else is in store? Got all this and more before 24. It's hard not to be sure. I'm spinning out of control, out of control. I'm feeling panicked and rushed and hurried. I'm feeling outmaneuvered and outclassed. I'm so happy I just can't get worried about this singular impression. I got this singular impression, things are moving too fast. Thank you. Well, I would have kept up this gerbil wheel existence year-round, but there were no industrial shows during the summer. So I would move out to Fire Island, a place by myself, no roommates, no guests, just me, the ocean, and a chance to think about this imagined success that I had. Self-contained and self-content, no promises to keep. I've got things so together that I just can't fall asleep. I walked the night and drank the moon, got home at 4:30, and I knew that no one marked my time as I unlocked my door. It's really lovely to discover that you like to be alone, not to owe anyone an answer when they get you on the phone, not to share a pair of pork chops When you crave champagne and cheese, and your aim becomes to please yourself and not to aim to please. Oh, they sold me when they told me two can live as cheap as one. But I'm learning, twice you're earning doesn't mean it's twice the fun. If you spend each dime and all your time on someone else's schemes. I'm not needy, but I'm greedy, and I live my deepest dreams. Take an hour in the shower, use the water while it's hot. In the tub I had to scrub my back, it's all I haven't got. Self-aware with self-esteem, is selfishness a crime? I take the day for quite a ride, and I take my own sweet time. Time to spare, time to share, and grateful I would be if just one damn man would share the need to be alone with me. With all I've been blessed with, I didn't have the one thing that everybody says you gotta have in order to be complete. My therapist said, "You're too busy for a relationship." Excuse me, I have spare time. I surprised her once. I told her I bought a king-size bed. She said, "Great. When it doesn't work out, you can use the other side for books." I had pretty much given up on finding the one. And then, out of the blue, along came Bill, who's not my type at all. You'd meet him on the street and never notice him, except for the man clogs. His form, his face, sort of a cross between Charles Bronson and Janet Reno. His manly grace are not the kind that you would find in a statue, and I can't explain. It's surely not his brain. He thought cabaret was a wine that thrills his soul. I love him because he's, I don't know, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But when I don't want to be alone, he's always there for me. Except on Thursday when he meets with his parole officer. I think it could work. He's not perfect, but hey, he's got a roof that don't leak when the rain's pouring down. He's got a place I can sleep where I am safe and sound. He's got a lock on his door, but he gave me the key. He don't walk the floor, no, 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 but he worries about me. Well, his love has no strings, shackles or chains, but I'm holding on for dear life. It's like rolling a 7 every time I roll the dice. He's got a big Oldsmobile. He's got a dog that don't bite. He's got a heart I can steal, y'all, just like a thief in the night. He's got a hot burning fire. He keeps his radio low, but when he gets inspired, living La Vida Loco. The next day it's La Dolce Vita. What a difference a day made. 24 little hours. Got the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Now I'm a part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine. What a difference a day made. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you. Yesterday was blue, dear. Now I'm a part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine. What a difference a day made. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you. I got the sun and the flowers, blue skies, happy hours. I got rainbows and romance for two. It's all different. And the difference is you. I can't believe you just walk out the door, turn and leave my broken dreams scattered on the floor. I'll stand here and take it the best I can. Pardon me if I don't shake your hand. Don't want to hear how all good things must end. How when we meet out on the street we can still be friends. It break my heart to see you leave, and I hope you have bad luck for company. Oh, I'm not gonna wish you all the best, and I hope that you'll be lonesome, stay worried and depressed. Oh, I've summed it up so well with this refrain. Every time you go outside, I hope it rains. I'm not gonna take this lying down. It's a bitter taste, no smiling face to cover up my frown. Maybe given time, my heart will heal, but nothing's gonna change the way I feel. Oh, I'm not gonna wish you all the best, and I hope that you'll be lonesome, stay worried and depressed. Oh, I've summed it up so well with this refrain. Every time you go outside, I hope it rains. Every time you go outside, for all the times that you have lied. Every time you go outside, I hope it rains. 30 years later, I was in the dollar store during my Christmas shopping. And I see this really attractive guy at the end of the clearance aisle rummaging through the bladder control products. Oh my God, it's him. Now, he was a little long in the tooth, but not so bad. Kept looking and looking. I had all of these. I had prepared for the day that I might run into him. I had all of these lines that I'd memorized and practiced for years that I was going to say to him if I ever saw him. But coming face to face with him, after all that time had passed, it wasn't the way I expected it to be. You reappearing in my mind. You were right, I was blind. But that was long ago. Now, do I ever cross your mind? Are your memories like mine? Or have they let you go? After all the loves I've lived through all these years, I had to go so far without you. Now it's clear you were my favorite love. That was my favorite year. When we were young forever yesterday. Fools and little children run away. If we could go back there, would we stay? After all the loves I've lived through all these years, I had to go so far without you. Now it's clear you were my favorite love. That was my favorite year. You were my favorite love. That was my favorite year. Good times and bum times, I've seen it all, and my dear, I'm still here. Plush velvet sometimes, sometimes just pretzels and beer, but I'm here. Woodstock and Lovin's, I was there. Wore all those flowers in my hair. I got through the folk music scare, and I'm here. Faith healers, amens, mystic retreats in Bel Air, but I'm here. Mantras and shamans, est, make me lose all my hair, but I'm here. Reiki and Tai Chi and that psychic fair, aromatherapy to grow back my hair. I got my aura cleansed twice a year to get clear. Past life regressions revealed, I'm King Lear and Paul Revere. Discos in Frisco, dancing on bars in Times Square. But I'm here. Stonewall, the riots, fought for my right to be there. Now I'm here. Adita Bryant with her ministry, telling me I shouldn't be me. I took to the streets far and near, without fear. I marched and came out singing, and I'm here. I've gotten to Nietzsche, Kafka, and Dostoevsky. So depressing and dark. When you've been to Nietzsche, Kafka, and Dostoevsky, Dr. Phil's a walk in the park. I've had love, happy endings, rainbows that weren't really there. But I'm here. Watched as my 401k vanished into thin air. But I'm here. Reagan, 2 Bushes, Trump with a snare. I watched my health care disappear. Breaking news of who's who and did what, where and when. Ringtones on cell phones to tell ya it's breaking again. There's a Viagra shortage. I've gotten through, hey mister, aren't you who's this? Wow, you were a stud in your day. Or better yet, sorry, I thought you were who's this. Now I hear he does cabaret. He's no Marilyn A. Thigh masters, butt blasters, spandex to keep things in place. But I'm here. Botox disasters, now I can't feel my own face. But I'm here. I lost my youth and all of my hair. Not so my turkey neck, it's still there. I still hear Sister Bertilla ring in my ear. A lot of good that's gonna do you in your life. Kept my hand on that plow and I held on, and I'm here. Every move I made, every step I took, they thought I was just a schnook. But I make all my own rules. And these lyrics, that's quite clear. Though I am no Paul Revere, I am here. Look, a little Brian, I'm still here. Conversion therapy didn't work. I'm still here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, what makes all of us tick is different for each of us. For me, at this point in my life, it's still unclear. You know, was it the song that Mr. Julius taught me as a kid that became a roadmap to everything I would do in my life? Or the kid inside, you know, going for that high-pop fly? Or my obsession with trying to make Sister Padilla wrong? It's a question. Why do I do what I do? Why does anybody do what they do? Why does a boy carve his name on a tree? Or the firstborn inherit the throne? What is a sculptor aspiring to be when he spends half his life carving stone? Kings build their tombs for the ages. Poets and fools fill up their What do we fear? I say we yearn to leave something that lasts and be known for what little we've done. Men tell their children the tales of their past, and each man gives his name to his son. Something in song or in story, something in blood, something of glory, something that won't fade away in a year. Well, I will not flicker and die like an ember. Too many men flicker and die. I will leave something behind to remember. Somehow I must. Don't ask me why. I have no sons, at least none I can claim, and no patience for carving in stone. All that I have are my skills and my name, and this chance to make both of them known. This is my key to the portal, how I can leave something immortal, something that time cannot make disappear, something to say. I was here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank all these incredible musicians here. Steve Singer and Scott Gordon and Jeff Harris. I leave you with a spiritual revelation that I've had that I think is worth passing on. Something you can take home with you. It seems as we get older that we become less bolder. We stick to old routines. We wear the same old jeans. We shy away from new things, find excuses not to do things. A race not run, a song unsung, the bling we wished we'd blung. Hello, couture, be not bereft. Try new things, there's still time left. You'll shine as bright as you can be if you'll just take this tip from me. I put some sparkle in my life, as you can see. A tie that razzle-dazzles and gives pause. I love fun and fantasy and all things fancy-free. And what I wear ain't breaking any law, no faux pas. The clothes you wear to work, they're dull and dreary. Those khakis don't exactly make me swoon. Put some life in your living and wear some sequins on a Sunday afternoon. Flannel shirts are butch, but don't inspire. Sweater vests don't set the world aglow. Go out on a limb when weekends come, give in to whim. Regale yourself in sparkles head to toe, like so. Then take your self-indulgence through the day. A suit of light can brighten up a room, and walk that road less traveled, and wear some sequins on a Sunday afternoon. Joie de vivre. Surrender to your wildest dreams. A wise man said that pearls cannot be found along the seashore. Where are they? You must make a dive to win that prize. If you keep on doing things the way you've always done, a rut is where you'll find yourself and never realize that you have worn those Birkenstocks since '69. Brown is out, and thank God so's maroon. And dump that have a nice day t-shirt and wear some sequins. Reach out for the moon. Wear your sequins. Some new or old antique wins. Wear your sequins on a Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Simonello. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We will be closing the house shortly, so once you're done finishing your checks with your waiters and want to make you blend Bob with your drinks out in the piano bar. Thank you so much.